Ladies and gentlemen, we all have dreams, goals, and visions of a life we want to lead. But sometimes the journey towards those dreams feels like a mountain too steep to climb. We get bogged down by the obstacles, the failures, the doubts. But here's the thing. Achieving anything you set your heart on is not about waiting for the perfect moment or the ideal circumstances. It's about showing up every day with courage, determination, and belief in yourself. The first thing to understand is that success is a journey, not a destination. We often hear the word success and immediately think of an end point, a prize, an award, a perfect result. But success, in its truest form, is the sum of all the moments, struggles, and challenges you face on the way to your goals. It's not about one big moment of glory, but rather about the small, consistent actions that lead you to where you want to be. Every single person who has achieved something significant did not get there overnight. They walked a long, hard road filled with trials, doubts, and obstacles. But they understood that success wasn't just about crossing the finish line. It was about staying committed, learning from mistakes, and growing along the way. There will be setbacks, but that's part of the process. When you're on a journey, there are bumps in the road. You'll face moments when you want to quit, when the going gets tough, and when you wonder if it's worth it. But those are the moments that define you. Those are the moments that build your character. If you focus only on the final goal, you miss the most important part of success, the journey itself. The lessons, the growth, the resilience, these things matter just as much, if not more, than the achievement itself. In fact, the process of getting there is where you'll find your true strength. It's easy to get lost in the idea of I'll be happy when I achieve this, or I'll be successful once I reach that goal. But true fulfillment comes from embracing the journey, with all its ups and downs. Think about all the successful people you know or admire. Each of them has faced challenges, failures, and moments of doubt. Yet they didn't let those moments define their worth or stop them from moving forward. They knew that the journey, with all its struggles, was what would ultimately make them stronger and more capable. Success isn't about being perfect. It's about being persistent, staying consistent, and learning from every experience, good or bad. When you're on your own path to success, don't just focus on the destination. Look at the journey and see it as an opportunity to grow, learn, and become the best version of yourself. Every step you take, every lesson you learn, every challenge you face, they are all building blocks towards your goal. Even when things don't go as planned, remember that you are still moving forward. You are still progressing, even if it doesn't always feel like it. So, take it one step at a time. Don't rush through the journey just to get to the destination. Enjoy the process, learn from it, and celebrate the small victories along the way. You will find that, in the end, the journey is what matters most. And when you finally reach your goal, you will realize that the person you've become along the way is the real success. Success is not achieved in one giant leap. It is built step by step, action by action. It is easy to get overwhelmed by the magnitude of a goal, especially when it feels far out of reach. The truth is, no great achievement ever happens in a single moment. It happens in the small actions we take each day that add up over time. These steps, no matter how small they seem, are the foundation of everything we accomplish. So, don't discount the little things. They matter, they count, and they are the building blocks of success. Think about it for a second. If you want to climb a mountain, you don't leap to the top in one go. You take one step after another, slowly making your way up. Each step, no matter how small, gets you closer to your goal. The same applies to your dreams. Whether it's learning a new skill, building a business, or achieving a personal milestone, success is a series of small steps that, when taken consistently, lead you to where you want to be. It's easy to get discouraged when you look at the big picture and see how far you have to go. It can feel daunting, and you may even think that you'll never get there. But when you focus on just taking one step at a time, the journey becomes more manageable. Each action you take is progress. no matter how insignificant it seems in the moment. And when you keep showing up day after day, these small steps will add up to something big. Another key aspect to understand is that small steps are sustainable. It's not about making giant leaps once in a while. It's about creating habits, daily routines, and consistent actions that you can maintain over time. The key to success is not pushing yourself to the point of burnout with huge, unsustainable efforts. It's about making progress in ways that you can sustain for the long haul. This ensures that the steps you're taking today will lead you to success tomorrow without overwhelming yourself in the process. One of the most powerful aspects of small steps is the sense of accomplishment they bring. When you focus on the small victories, you build momentum. Every small win adds to your confidence, reinforcing your belief that you can continue moving forward. This momentum keeps you going even when the road gets tough. Small steps are like little sparks that keep the fire of motivation burning. The more steps you take, the more fuel you add to that fire, propelling you towards your goal. Sometimes we look at others who have achieved what we want to achieve and think they must have done something extraordinary to get there. But the truth is, behind every success story is a journey of consistent small steps. The people we admire didn't get to where they are by doing something massive all at once. They got there by showing up every day, taking small steps and building on each achievement. Take a look at any successful person or any accomplishment that inspires you. They didn't just wake up one day and find themselves at the top. They started somewhere, took their first small step, and then kept going. It wasn't about waiting for the perfect moment or for everything to align perfectly. It was about moving forward, even if it was only one small step at a time. The same principle applies to any area of your life. Whether you're trying to get fit, improve your skills, or build a career, success isn't about making huge, dramatic changes overnight. It's about consistency. The small steps you take today, no matter how minor they may seem, are what will lead you to bigger successes in the future. You may not see instant results, but trust the process. Keep taking those steps, and one day you'll look back and realize how far you've come. The power of small steps lies in their ability to compound. Just like investing in small amounts of money over time leads to greater returns, taking small steps consistently will eventually lead to significant progress. And even when you don't feel like you're making any progress, know that every small step counts. You're moving forward even if it feels slow. Trust the process and understand that every step you take brings you closer to your goal. Success is not about taking huge risks or making drastic changes. It's about showing up every day, no matter how small the task, and taking action. The small steps are what add up to big achievements. They are the foundation, the groundwork, and the key to reaching your goals. Keep moving forward, one step at a time, and trust that these steps will lead you to where you want to go. One of the most common traps we fall into is comparing our journey to others. We look at someone who has achieved success and we think, why not me? What did they do that I'm not doing? The truth is, we often don't see the struggles, the late nights, the sacrifices, or the failures that came before their success. We only see the outcome, and it's easy to assume that it came easily or without effort. But when we compare ourselves to others, we ignore the most important thing, our own path. Each person's journey is unique. What works for someone else might not work for you, and that's okay. Everyone has their own set of circumstances, challenges, and opportunities that shape their experiences. Instead of comparing yourself to others, focus on your own progress. The only person you should be in competition with is the person you were yesterday. If you're doing better than you were yesterday, that's progress, and that's what truly matters. It's easy to look at social media, the news, or hear success stories, and feel like everyone else is ahead of you. But that's a false narrative. The reality is that success doesn't happen in a straight line. There are setbacks, detours, and challenges along the way. What you don't see in other people's stories are the moments when they questioned themselves, when they failed, or when they had to start over. What you see is the polished version of their success, not the messy, challenging journey that led them there. When you constantly compare your progress to others, you're robbing yourself of the joy of your own achievements. Every milestone, no matter how small, is something to celebrate. Your journey is yours, and it's special in its own way. Every challenge you face is one you will learn from. Every step you take, no matter how small, brings you closer to your goal. When you compare yourself to others, you may feel like you're falling behind, but in reality, you're just on your own timeline, moving at your own pace. Instead of comparing, celebrate your uniqueness. Celebrate the fact that you're forging your own path, and that's something to be proud of. Your experiences, your struggles, and your victories are what make your story valuable. When you focus on your own progress, you stop measuring yourself by someone else's yardstick, and you begin to recognize your own worth. Another reason why comparison is damaging is that it can lead to self-doubt and insecurity. When we compare, we start to question our abilities, our worth, and our potential. We begin to think that if we haven't achieved the same level of success as someone else by a certain age or stage in life, we must be doing something wrong. But that's simply not true. Everyone's timeline is different. Some people find success early, while others take longer to get there. Both paths are valid. The most important thing is not where you are compared to someone else, but where you are compared to where you started. Look back at how far you've come. Look at the obstacles you've overcome and the lessons you've learned along the way. That's where your true growth lies. Growth isn't about rushing to the finish line. It's about learning, improving, and becoming the best version of yourself along the way. When you stop comparing, you start focusing on your own goals. You begin to take ownership of your journey and see the value in every step, no matter how small. Instead of feeling discouraged or defeated by someone else's success, use it as inspiration. Understand that their journey is different from yours, but that doesn't make yours any less important. There is power in focusing on your own path. It allows you to be more mindful of the progress you're making, and it helps you stay grounded in the present. Rather than getting caught up in what others are doing, you can focus on what you need to do to move forward. This mindset shift is what will propel you toward your goals, as it allows you to celebrate your own growth without the distraction of comparison. The only measure of success that truly matters is your own. The moment you stop comparing yourself to others is the moment you take full ownership of your journey. You begin to trust in your abilities and your timing. You begin to understand that everyone has their own story, and so do you. And most importantly, you begin to see that your journey, no matter how long or difficult, is uniquely yours, and that is more than enough. Failures are not the end of the road. They are merely stepping stones along the way. When you experience failure, it's easy to feel defeated, to believe that you are not good enough or that success is out of reach. But the reality is that every failure holds a lesson, and every mistake brings you one step closer to success. The most successful people are often those who have failed the most, not because they were perfect, but because they were willing to fail, learn, and try again. Failure is not something to be afraid of. It is something to embrace. It's part of the process, and it's necessary for growth. When you fail, you are learning what doesn't work, which is just as important as knowing what does. Think about any invention or discovery in history. For every success, there were countless failures behind it. But instead of giving up, those who succeeded kept going, learning from each failure and improving with each attempt. The same applies to your own journey. You may face setbacks, disappointments, and roadblocks, but each of these is a chance to grow and evolve. One of the main reasons we fear failure is because we equate it with weakness or inadequacy. We often think that failure means we are not capable, or that we are falling short of expectations. But in reality, failure is not a reflection of your worth. It is simply feedback. It is an opportunity to understand what needs to change, what needs to be adjusted, and what strategies need to be tweaked. Instead of letting failure define you, let it refine you. Use it as a tool for improvement and look at it as an essential part of the learning process. The fear of failure often holds us back from taking risks or trying new things. We become so consumed by the possibility of failure that we never take the first step. But the truth is, without taking that first step, you can never reach your destination. Failure is part of stepping into the unknown, part of taking a chance, and part of daring to go after what you want. The key is not to avoid failure, but to face it head on and keep moving forward despite it. In fact, many of the most successful people in the world have had to face repeated failures before they achieved their goals. These individuals didn't let failure stop them. Instead, they used it as a tool to strengthen their resolve and sharpen their skills. Every time they fell, they picked themselves back up, adjusted their approach, and tried again. This persistence is what ultimately led them to success. It's important to understand that failure is not permanent. It is temporary. It is simply a part of the journey. What truly matters is how you respond to failure. If you let failure stop you, then it becomes your ending. But if you learn from it, adjust, and keep moving forward, then failure becomes just a small part of your larger success story. Another important thing to remember is that failure is often out of our control. We can prepare, plan, and work hard, but sometimes things just don't go the way we expect. External factors, unforeseen circumstances, or even the actions of others can affect the outcome. This doesn't make you a failure. It simply means that things didn't go according to plan, and that's okay. It's important to remain flexible and adaptable, to recognize that sometimes the path to success is not linear, and to be willing to course-correct when necessary. Every failure brings you a step closer to success because it forces you to reassess, learn, and grow. If you take the lessons from each failure and apply them to the next step, you are inevitably going to be closer to your goal. Failure isn't an obstacle, it's a guide. It's the process of figuring out what works and what doesn't. So, the next time you fail, don't view it as the end. View it as an opportunity. Embrace the discomfort that comes with failure, because it is through discomfort that we grow. Learn from it, adapt, and try again. The more you do this, the more you build resilience, and resilience is one of the most powerful traits you can develop on your path to success. Failure is not a sign that you should quit. It's a sign that you're learning, evolving, and getting one step closer to your goal. Your mindset shapes your entire reality. The way you think, the way you perceive yourself, and the way you approach challenges all play a significant role in whether or not you succeed. It's easy to fall into the trap of thinking that success is something that happens only to a select few, that it's something you either have or don't have. But the truth is, success is largely determined by the way you think about yourself and your ability to achieve your goals. Your mindset is your most powerful tool, and it can either propel you forward or hold you back. A positive and growth-oriented mindset is crucial. When you believe that you can grow, learn, and improve, you open yourself up to endless possibilities. You start to see challenges as opportunities, failures as lessons, and obstacles as stepping stones. With this mindset, you begin to see the world not as something happening to you, but as something you can shape and influence. You stop feeling like a victim of circumstances and start feeling like the creator of your own destiny. But a growth mind. It isn't just about being optimistic. It's about understanding that growth takes time, effort, and persistence. It's about being patient with yourself and understanding that mistakes are a natural part of the learning process. With a growth mindset, you see setbacks as temporary, and you view challenges as something to overcome, not something that defines you. When you believe in your ability to grow, you begin to take risks, try new things, and step outside of your comfort zone. And it's only by stepping outside of your comfort zone that you can truly experience growth. On the other hand, a fixed mindset can hold you back. People with a fixed mindset believe that their abilities, intelligence, and talents are fixed and unchangeable. They believe that success comes from inherent ability, and that if they struggle, it means they are not capable. This mindset leads to a fear of failure, as failure is seen as a reflection of their abilities. Instead of trying and failing, people with a fixed mindset often avoid challenges altogether because they are afraid of proving that they aren't good enough. This fear of failure keeps them stuck in their comfort zone, preventing them from taking the necessary steps to grow. The key to developing a growth mindset is to focus on the process, not just the outcome. Instead of obsessing over whether you succeed or fail, focus on what you're learning along the way. Each step you take is an opportunity to grow, and each failure is an opportunity to learn and improve. By shifting your focus from the result to the process, you take the pressure off yourself and allow yourself to enjoy the journey. When you stop worrying about perfection and start embracing progress, you'll find that success comes naturally. One of the most powerful things about mindset is that it's something you can control. You may not be able to control external circumstances, but you can control the way you think and the way you react to situations. You can choose to see challenges as opportunities, and you can choose to believe in your ability to succeed. You can choose to embrace the idea that you are capable of learning and growing, no matter where you start. And when you make that choice, you start to shift your entire reality. Your mindset also affects how you view other people's success. With a growth mindset, you see other people's achievements as inspiration, not competition. You recognize that someone else's success does not diminish your own potential. Instead of feeling envious or discouraged, you can celebrate others' accomplishments and use them as motivation to keep pushing yourself forward. A positive mindset allows you to see the best in others and to surround yourself with people who inspire and support you. It's about fostering an environment of growth, both for yourself and for those around you. The way you talk to yourself is also a reflection of your mindset. If you constantly tell yourself that you're not good enough or that you'll never succeed, you're reinforcing a fixed mindset. But if you remind yourself of your strengths, your progress, and your potential, you are cultivating a growth mindset. Positive self-talk helps you stay focused, motivated, and confident in your abilities. The more you believe in yourself, the more you'll take the necessary steps to reach your goals. Remember, your mindset is not something that is fixed or predetermined. It is something that you can cultivate, nurture, and develop over time. By choosing to adopt a growth mindset, you can transform the way you approach challenges, failures, and success. When you believe in your ability to grow, you unlock your full potential and become unstoppable. Success is not a one-time event. It is a continuous process of learning and evolving. Every day presents an opportunity to improve, to refine your skills, and to expand your knowledge. The key to long-term success is not just about reaching a goal and stopping there. It's about being open to new experiences, new information, and new ways of thinking. The world is constantly changing, and so must you. To succeed, you must adopt a mindset that embraces learning as an ongoing journey, not a destination. One of the most powerful things you can do is to develop a habit of lifelong learning. This doesn't mean that you have to constantly be reading textbooks or attending seminars. It means being open to learning from everything around you. Every conversation, every mistake, every success, and every challenge is an opportunity to learn. If you approach life with a curious mind and a desire to learn from every experience, you'll find that you're always growing, always moving forward. Learning doesn't stop when you finish school or land a job. In fact, it becomes even more important as you move forward in your career and life. The world is constantly evolving, and new technologies, strategies, and trends emerge all the time. To stay relevant and competitive, you must continually educate yourself. This doesn't mean you need to become an expert in everything, but it does mean staying informed, being adaptable, and being willing to learn new things when necessary. Embracing learning also means being willing to step out of your comfort zone. Often, the most valuable lessons come from situations that are unfamiliar, difficult, or uncomfortable. When you push yourself to try new things, to take on new challenges, and to venture into uncharted territory, you expose yourself to growth opportunities that you would not otherwise have had. This may mean taking on projects that seem intimidating, engaging in conversations that stretch your thinking, or pursuing new hobbies that challenge you. The more you stretch yourself, the more you learn and grow. It's also important to recognize that learning is not always about acquiring knowledge in the traditional sense. It's also about developing emotional intelligence, improving your relationships, and gaining a deeper understanding of yourself and others. Life is as much about personal growth as it is about professional achievements. The ability to manage your emotions, navigate complex social situations, and adapt to change is just as important as any technical skill you can learn. In fact, these soft skills can often be the difference between success and failure, especially in leadership positions. Furthermore, learning is about understanding that failure is an inevitable part of the process. Instead of viewing failure as something to avoid, see it as an opportunity to learn. Every time you fail, you are gaining valuable feedback about what doesn't work, which allows you to refine your approach and try again. This learning mindset is what allows you to build resilience and perseverance, two essential traits for anyone who wants to achieve something meaningful in life. To truly embrace learning, you must let go of the belief that you have all the answers. The moment you think you know everything is the moment you stop growing. Be humble enough to admit that you don't have all the answers, and be open to learning from others, even those who are at different stages of their journey. No matter how much you achieve, there is always more to learn. Stay curious, stay hungry for knowledge, and keep challenging yourself to learn more. Learning also involves being able to adapt. Change is inevitable, and in today's fast-paced world, things can shift unexpectedly. The most successful people are those who can adapt to new situations, learn new skills, and adjust their approach when necessary. They are not rigid in their thinking or attached to one way of doing things. Instead, they are flexible, able to pivot when needed, and open to trying new methods or technologies that can help them achieve their goals. Finally, learning is about consistency. It's not about massive leaps or breakthroughs happening all at once, but about making steady progress each day. By dedicating time to learn something new every day, whether it's reading a chapter of a book, listening to a podcast, or practicing a new skill, you build momentum. This consistent effort compounds over time, leading to significant growth and achievement. Just like small steps lead to big results, small acts of learning lead to big improvements in your life. In the end, success is not just about reaching a destination. It's about continuously evolving and growing as a person. The more you learn, the more you improve, and the closer you get to achieving your goals. By embracing the idea of lifelong learning, you create a mindset that will serve you for a lifetime, no matter where life takes you. Action is the key to achieving your dreams. It's easy to dream big, to plan and set goals, but without action, those dreams remain just that, dreams. The difference between those who succeed and those who don't is often not talent, intelligence, or resources, but the ability to take consistent and meaningful action towards their goals. Without action, all the motivation, all the planning, and all the positive thinking in the world won't amount to much. It's through action that ideas are brought to life and goals are transformed into reality. One of the biggest reasons people fail to act is fear. Fear of failure, fear of the unknown, fear of making mistakes. These fears can paralyze us and prevent us from moving forward. But the truth is, fear is a natural part of the process. It's something that everyone experiences, especially when stepping into new territory. The key is not to let fear stop you from taking action. Instead of letting fear control you, use it as motivation to push yourself further. Understand that fear doesn't have to hold you back. It can be a signal that you're on the right path, that you're stepping outside of your comfort zone, and that you're growing. Another reason people fail to take action is procrastination. We often put off taking the first step because we feel overwhelmed, or because we believe that the perfect moment will come. But the truth is, there will never be a perfect time to start. The perfect time to take action is now. Waiting for everything to fall into place before you begin only delays your progress. Instead, take the first step even if it's small. Once you start moving, momentum will carry you forward, and you'll find that each subsequent step becomes easier and more natural. Action also requires commitment. It's easy to get excited about an idea or a goal in the beginning, but staying committed over the long term is what separates those who succeed from those who quit. Commitment means showing up every day, even when it's hard, even when you don't feel like it, and even when progress seems slow. It means pushing through the tough days and continuing to work toward your goal, no matter the obstacles. Commitment is about consistency. It's about doing the work even when the initial excitement has faded and the journey feels long. When you take action, you create opportunities. The more you do, the more you learn and the more you improve. Even if your actions don't always yield the desired results, they give you valuable feedback that helps you adjust and move forward. Action is how you gain experience, refine your skills, and discover what works and what doesn't. The more you act, the more you learn, and the more you can tweak your approach to move closer to your goal. It's also important to recognize that action doesn't always need to be grand or dramatic. You don't need to make huge changes all at once to see progress. Sometimes small actions taken consistently over time can make a bigger impact than one big leap. Taking small, manageable steps every day will eventually lead to significant progress. It's easy to become discouraged if you expect instant results or if you focus too much on the big picture. Instead, focus on the process and commit to taking small actions every day. Over time, these actions will compound and lead you to your goals. Furthermore, action is about focusing on what you can control. It's easy to get caught up in worrying about things that are outside of your control, such as the actions of others or external circumstances. But the only thing you can control is yourself and what you choose to do. Taking action means focusing on your own choices and decisions, regardless of what is happening around you. It means setting your intentions, taking responsibility for your actions, and committing to doing what you can to achieve your goals. A crucial part of taking action is not waiting for motivation to strike. Motivation often comes after you start moving, not before. Waiting for motivation to show up before you act can lead to stagnation. Instead, start with a small task even if you don't feel motivated. The act of doing something, no matter how small, will generate energy and motivation. The more you do, the more motivated you'll feel, and the more likely you are to continue taking action. Ultimately, action is what turns dreams into reality. It's what separates those who wish for success from those who achieve it. Taking action requires courage, commitment, and consistency. It requires you to push past fear, overcome procrastination, and keep moving forward despite challenges. But with each step you take, no matter how small, you are closer to realizing your goals. Action is the bridge between where you are and where you want to be, and the more you take, the closer you get to achieving everything you've set out to do. The person you become through the journey is the true measure of your success. Often, we place so much focus on the end goal that we forget to acknowledge the growth and transformation that happens along the way. Success is not just about reaching a specific destination. It is about who you become in the process of striving for your dreams. The struggles you face, the lessons you learn, and the challenges you overcome all shape you into a stronger, more capable version of yourself. When you look back on your journey, you realize that the true victory isn't the achievement itself, but the person you have grown into while working toward it. At the core of this transformation is your ability to adapt. Life is unpredictable, and you will inevitably encounter obstacles that test your resolve. How you respond to these obstacles is what shapes your character. When faced with setbacks, some people give up, while others choose to persevere. The ones who keep going despite the difficulties are the ones who experience personal growth. Every challenge you face is an opportunity to learn something new about yourself. It's in those moments of adversity that your true strength emerges. How you handle difficulty will define you far more than the ease with which you achieve success. Through this process of overcoming challenges, you learn the importance of resilience. Life doesn't always go according to plan. There are moments when things fall apart, when plans fail, or when success feels out of reach. But it is in these moments that you find the true value of perseverance. Resilience is about bouncing back from failure, not letting it define you. It's about picking yourself up after each fall and moving forward with greater determination. The ability to keep going, even when the path is tough, is a crucial part of the person you become. Resilience is the muscle you develop through each struggle, and it makes you stronger and more capable with each passing day. Success also teaches you humility. The more you grow, the more you begin to understand that success is not just about individual achievement. It's about the people around you. No one achieves greatness on their own. You need the support of others, whether it's family, friends, mentors, or colleagues. Along your journey, you begin to recognize the importance of community and collaboration. You understand that lifting others up on your way to success is just as important as the success itself. Success is not a solitary pursuit. It is a collective journey, and the relationships you build along the way are part of the foundation that supports you. Another important aspect of the person you become is self-awareness. As you work toward your goals, you start to develop a deeper understanding of who you are. You learn about your strengths and weaknesses, your passions and fears, and what truly matters to you. This self-awareness allows you to make better decisions, align your actions with your values, and live a more authentic life. Success is not just about achieving external goals, it's about aligning those goals with your true self. When you know who you are and what you truly want, your actions become more purposeful and your journey feels more fulfilling. Throughout your journey, you also develop a sense of gratitude. As you progress and encounter both successes and failures, you begin to appreciate the journey itself. You recognize that every step, whether forward or backward, is part of your growth. You learn to appreciate the people who have supported you, the lessons you've learned, and the experiences you've gained. Gratitude becomes a central part of your transformation, allowing you to find peace and contentment in the process, regardless of the outcome. Ultimately, the person you become through your journey is someone who is more confident, more capable, and more self-assured. You gain the knowledge that you can overcome any obstacle, no matter how big. You realize that success is not a final destination, but a continuous process of learning, evolving, and growing. The person you become is someone who understands the value of persistence, humility, self-awareness, and resilience.